Hi, this is Steven from Just Got Played, and today we are going to unbox and talk a little bit about Cat in a Box, a quantum trick-taking game. So you can see this is the deluxe edition, but if you want to get this game in English, I think that's the only choice. There's an older Japanese-only version from a few years ago, but this version is from Bézier Games, and Hobby Japan is on there too. So you can see it's a bunch of cards and tokens. And 3 to 5 players, about 30 minutes. Ages 14 and up seems a little high, but, you know, those are always a little weird. Let's get this open and take a look at it. So I'm a fan of trick-taking games and particularly interested in trick-taking games that try some new and interesting things. So, all right, let's see what we have here. The experiment manual. All right, so that tells you there are different setups depending on how many players you have, you know, which board should you use, whether you use some of these observed tokens, etc. So it's telling you what to do there, and then it talks about how the game is played. And the interesting hook here, of course, is that none of the cards actually have a suit. It's when you play it, when the card is finally observed during the experiment, that you know what the suit is. And then, of course, you can also cause a paradox because of that. All right, so it looks like there's a nice sort of just summary on the back of the rules there. So that's pretty cool. All right, so what do we got here? We've got a board. This must be the main board, right? Okay. Don't know what the holes are there for, but there are 4 different suits, colors. Ultimately, when you play a card, you have to say whether it's red, blue, yellow, or green, and red is the trump, which if you're familiar with trick-taking games, you know what trump suit is. It beats everything else. This folds because you don't use, when you've got, I think, 3 or less players, you only use a little bit of it, and then you use the full thing when you have more players than that. Okay. Then the players also have their own individual boards. So this is for 2 to 3 players. You would use this side. And this is where you're saying how many tricks you're going to take. So you got 1, 3, or 4. You can't say that you're going to take 2 tricks in a 2 or 3 player game. And then these markers tell you whether or not you've said your void in that suit, right? Because if you didn't follow suit, that means you don't have any of that color, so now you can't play that color in the future, right? That would be a paradox. Here's the other side, 4 to 5 players. It's the same thing, except you can see you can only bid 1, 2, or 3 as the number of tricks that you're going to take. All right, and so there's 5 of those, 1 for each player, and they're all the same, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they seem to be. All right, there is a Scorepad in here. All right, cool. Yeah, so if you cause a paradox, then you get negative points instead of the regular points you're supposed to get. And that's cool. It's sort of just in there to hold the tokens in place. All right, let's look at some of the tokens before we get to the cards. So every player has a different type of token, right? So those are actually pretty nice. I like that. Let me see if I can find, I don't know what all the different tokens are, but we'll see if I can sort of grab, you know what, I'm just going to dump it all out. What a mess, you say. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so let's find just a bunch of the different types of tokens here. Here's 5 different types, so maybe that's it. So there's 5 different players. Let me turn that one over. All right, cool. So they've got different shapes and colors and, designs. I don't know what those are, screen printed or what. But there you go. And then there's also these. These are the observation tokens. So for instance, if you are playing... I think it's a 3-player game. Maybe you don't use these over here. So you just sort of knock those out. Okay. I thought these had numbers on them. I thought these were going to have numbers on them. Maybe they do if I slot something in there. I don't know. All right, we'll see. Let's take a look at these different cards that are here. So let me open this card deck. All right, so let's start by looking at the cards. All right, so there you go, right? You will use the 1 in the 2, 3, 4, or 5 player game. and it doesn't have a suit because it's when you play it that you determine the suit. And there are 5 ones. All right, good to know. Definitely more than there can be. So, you're looking at potential paradox there. All right, so there's the 1 is sort of a sleeping cat. Then there's the 2. And there's what the 3 looks like. And the 4. 5. And I think 6 is not used. Yeah, there we go. So 6 is not used in a 2-player game. All right. So you use it for 3, 4, and 5. And then 7 is just used in a 4 and 5-player game. 8 just used in a 4 and 5-player game. I think 9 is only used in a 5-player game. Yep, indeed. So there you go. That's what all of those are. Now let's see what these other cards are, because I am not entirely sure. So there are research cards. All right, these must be the research cards. All right, and these, I think, get slotted into the board. I haven't played the game or even seen it played yet. So, yeah, okay, I guess that's what this is for. So that it does have the numbers if you slot the cards in. All right. So there you go. These can slot in. Okay. I'm not sure what, why you have the different ones and why they can be slotted in different places, but I guess I'll figure that out when I play. All right, round start, player. Everybody gets the chance to be, when you play, like say you're playing a 4-player game, you're going to play 4 hands. So you need to, rotate around so everybody gets to start during one of the hands. All right, and then we got these cards. And I don't know what those are. These are also research cards. Does that make any sense? I don't think that makes any sense to put these in there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those cards are, but all right, cool. So, it has a nice insert in the end of the insert now. It has a nice insert to hold all the tokens. I liked the thing to put on top there to hopefully hold those tokens in place and not spill them all over your table like I did. But I am excited to get this played again because, the cool thing here is that you play a card and you say like, oh, that's a 1, but that was a 1 red, right? So, if that was the 1 space, I would mark it there with my marker. And then eventually you want to try to not only get your bid, but you also want to get these things to be adjacent to each other to score more points. So it's got an interesting thing going on here with the scoring, the interesting thing trying to take the tricks, and then the interesting thing, when you start, you're going to have 4 of these out here. And then if, blue is led and you say, you play something other than a blue, then you take this off, which means, hey, I don't have any blues in my hand, so now you can't play a blue. So anyway, it's some cool components for tracking the information, being able to easily see who has said what they're void in and which cards people have said they've played, the suit that they've decided the card is for. I think there were some really smart choices here in the components, but we'll find out after I get a chance to play it, and then we'll do a review video. But anyway, that is what comes in the Cat in the Box Deluxe Edition. If you have any questions about the game or anything that you see here, you can come over to our Discord channel. I'd be happy to talk to you about the game there or anything else in general. So look in the description below. There's a link to our Discord channel. Hope to see you there. But otherwise, I'll see you next time.